and welcome back to Illini Drive. It is Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. And we are here. It is Thursday, I said that already. And today it is me, Jake Hasan, captaining the ship. Alec Busse's here as usual. And today filling in is Erich Fisher. First time on, I believe.
Woo! Yeah, in a couple years, I was on my freshman year a lot when I was covering softball. I would come in and talk about softball once every blue moon. But yeah, first time in a long time. Good to be back on the show, and good to be back here for Bears game day.
It's great to have you.
Oh, it's great to be with you.
How's everybody doing? Good.
Like
Yeah, I'm great. Had a great day of class.
Bears game day.
Lovely.
That's all
Bears
I've been
game day,
thinking about all day.
Exactly.
I'm in my class, and my professor's trying to.
WPGU 1071.
Oh, cool. Jason just saved us right there. Love that. Jason,
The real MVP.
real guy over here. Where was it? That just completely threw me
No,
off.
I was talking about how I was in class.
Alex is out, so I'm attempting to produce right now. So we'll see what happens. Bears game day. That's really what I'm happy about. Getting me through this last hour is like I'm really excited to be here right now for that, and it's just gonna make it go by. Because otherwise, I'd just be sitting at home like waiting for the minutes to go by.
Be thinking about it. Too
Right,
much.
exactly. I'd be in my own head. I'd scare myself.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't learn anything in class today because I was just.
Oh, I didn't pay attention.
I was
at all.
like watching my 6th or 7th like Bears hype video.
The one that the Bears account put out today was great.
That was straight fire.
That
The one
was
with
really-
Singletary
the Singletary
voiceover?
commentary.
Yeah, that was very good.
That was good. The
They
Bears
released one yesterday that was really good
that
too.
one was really good too. They always make good commentary videos.
Yeah.
But we got all other stuff to talk about. We'll do Bears at the end, NFL at the end. But we got to talk about some Illinois first. They play UConn at UConn this week. And they just, obviously, we talked about earlier this week how they just smacked Akron around a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot of it. And so now they go to UConn, who I think we've all said UConn is a worse team than Akron. I think we all think. And Illinois handled Akron pretty well. A little tougher going to Connecticut and going from Champaign to Connecticut. I don't even know. That's got to be a
road
long
games for
flight.
this program have historically been
Not great.
tough.
Yeah, Lovey mentioned going at his Monday press conference. It's the first. If Illinois wins Saturday against UConn, it'll be their first road non-conference victory since 2007 over Syracuse.
Kind of throwing
12 years.
Kind of throwing a bone on that one to fix that record real quick.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to do that. And I think, when was the last time Illinois went 3-0 in conference? Because it wasn't last year, and it wasn't the year before that. Because they played USF the last 2 years. Was it our freshman year?
No,
Eric?
because they lost to North Carolina a couple times there, and
Yeah.
Arizona State once.
That night game was insane.
So,
that North
yeah, it
Carolina
was.
night game.
Mitch played that game.
Mitch did. We'll talk about
True.
Mitch a little later.
No, so it's got to be 5 or 6 years since
Yeah.
Illinois.
It
Very
might be
long
that
time.
year that they played Arizona State at home
yeah,
at a
no,
night game.
I
I forget
remember
what year
night.
that was, though.
Was it 2012?
I was thinking around
7
13.
years.
Was it 13?
6 or so. So 6 or
Either
7.
way, it's
so
a
it's been
long
a while
time.
since Illinois started 3-0. So it'd be nice because then, I mean, not to look too far ahead in the future, but you assume you can handle Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, and Eastern Michigan didn't look too great in their first game. I forget what the score was, but they played a pretty low tier opponent. Only came out that game with winning by a touchdown. So that's promising for Illinois because I know that Eastern Michigan game has been kind of built up to be like a test heading in the conference play, just kind of like a really be able to see where they're at heading into conference play. But if that Eastern Michigan team's in decline from a year ago where they were able to knock off Purdue, then it looks like Illinois is going to have a little soft schedule heading into that Nebraska game. And boy, when they walk into that, I shouldn't say win, but if they walk into that Nebraska game 3-0 and Nebraska's, which continues to struggle like it did last week, then that's going to be a crazy game here at Memorial.
Because that's a night game too, right?
I believe
Potentially.
So yeah, potentially.
They haven't announced a time for it. And just to clarify, it was 2011 the last time Illinois started.
2011. Was that the Arizona State?
Yeah,
year?
so they beat Arkansas State in week 1. They
That's a
killed
decent
South
football
Dakota
team.
State in week 2. Then they beat Arizona State at home in week 3. They then managed to beat Western Michigan 23-20 at home against at Memorial Stadium. They started 6-0 that year.
I was about to say.
And then lost 6 straight.
Yep. That was that Shieldhouse's last year or junior?
No,
year?
that would have been Ron Zook's last year
Okay.
because he did not coach the Rose Bowl after losing 6 straight games.
And he begged people not to fire him.
Yikes. Yikes. No, but I mean, I think we're all feeling pretty good, despite injuries. Obviously, Mike Epstein out, knee injury. Marquez Beeson out. Luke Ford being held hostage by the NCAA for not being a quarterback.
Held hostage.
And you got better phrasing?
I know. That's just hilarious. I hadn't heard it that way before.
So, but it's UConn. Illinois played really well. Brandon Peters. And so, Eric, this is your first time in here. We talked about Brandon Peters a little bit on Tuesday and Wednesday, but how did you feel? I mean, you're Illinois Rivals guy. You cover Illinois football pretty extensively. How did Peters look to you? Like, what did you see? What did you like? What didn't you like?
So, obviously you wanted to see him make plays in the passing game. You wanted to see him be able to make a throw beyond 10 yards, which last year A.J. Busse struggled to make throws of past 10 yards sometimes. Other times A.J. Busse was decent. But what I was looking for Peters out of that game is I wanted to see what he did before the ball was snapped. I wanted to see what kind of pre-snap reads he was making. I wanted to see how he controlled the offense under center and how he read the defense. And he did all those things perfectly, I would say. I mean, in his passer rating showed it. He had like a pass rating of like 163, which is really, really good. But of course, we say all these things about like how Illinois played and how they're looking, but you have to put a disclaimer on it because they're playing Akron.
Right.
But Peters, I thought looked really good. He was smart too. He wasn't afraid to throw the ball away. He had a couple those throws he missed down in the end zone. Those aren't throws he's going to miss because as soon as those are easy throws, they're correct once you get on film and stuff like that. And then he was able to sneak out of the pocket, make good decisions out of there. He looked like he commanded this Illinois offense, which I don't think a quarterback's been able to do for a while heading into week one.
We were talking about that. Like how long has it been since Illinois had like a throwing quarterback that actually uses his arms more than his legs?
Yeah, exactly. And I asked Rod at the press conference on Monday. I asked him, how long do you think it'll be until you'll just give Peters the reign and be able to let him to make audibles and checks at the line of scrimmage? And he said if he keeps at his pace now, it's not going to be very long. And by that, I mean by conference play potentially.
Probably, yeah.
I would say so. And that's just a huge thing because I mean that takes so much pressure off of your offensive coordinator because then he doesn't have to just preemptively try to think. He could trust your quarterback to make the correct reads at the line of scrimmage. And so I thought Peters looked really, really good. Once again, disclaimer, Akron. But he did all the little things that you want to see out of your starting quarterback.
Yeah.
I just think that, like you mentioned, having the ability to make audibles at the line of scrimmage is something that would be huge for the Illinois offense. And you mentioned Rod having trust in him, and I don't see how you can't have trust in him after what he did in training camp, not throwing, I think it was around 7 interceptions through 2 weeks or something like that.
He was very clean during training camp. He didn't. I thought he only looked like the starter because everyone else was so wildly inconsistent. But seeing him in this Akron game, he looked like a Big Ten quarterback in this Akron game.
And I think
he is.
Well, exactly. But Illinois doesn't usually have Big Ten quarterbacks playing on their team.
Right.
I just think he did a really good job of taking what the defense gave him, finding the open receivers that were 5-7 yards down the field, and just hitting them right in the numbers. I mean, there was a couple of times where he made a really, really solid play. One that comes to mind right away is the one where he had to scramble out of the pocket going to his right, and he found Ricky Smalling coming back.
Yeah,
and
a guy draped over him.
Yeah,
too.
That's a great throw that Illinois hasn't had a quarterback make that throw on a consistent basis in a long time. He made another really good throw to Ricky in the end zone. So if you're able to trust him to make the easy throws, but then he's able to go and make the crazy, amazing throw every now and then, which I don't think a lot of people necessarily expect him to do on a regular basis. But if he's able to do it every now and then, how can Rod Smith not have the confidence in him to go to the line of scrimmage, call an audible, or call a hot route, or whatever it is to get an open receiver and try and open up his offense to be more explosive? And as we know, Rod's an explosive play caller, and he wants to be aggressive, and he showed that a lot last year, and he showed it again last Saturday against Akron.
The one play that I want to talk about that really showed me what Peters can bring was the touchdown to Trevon Sidney, because you could see Brandon Peters going through his progression, checking off his hot route, going to his next guy, seeing that he's not open, and then off his back foot while having a lineman almost shoved into him, he was able to drop that throw right on a dime, Trevon Sidney. And on the stat sheet, it's going to say it was a 10-yard touchdown, but that was in the back of the end zone. That was a 20-yard throw that he made off his back foot. And so, I mean, that was just a really that's what shows you that he's not going to be a guy that if he doesn't have his first read, then it's just all over. He's going to be a guy that could go through a progression and make a smart decision, and that's what he showed during Akron. when the pressure's on, we'll see what actually happens.
I think something that was really encouraging about Peters is like how he played was we haven't seen an Illinois quarterback have that kind of chemistry with receivers. I mean, you guys alluded to it with Ricky Smalling. Like, when was the last time we saw Ricky Smalling be comfortable with a quarterback?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's happened yet. I don't think like that. At least that level of comfortability. Like, he had a little bit of a rapport with Chase Crouch. I think there was a little bit, but I think that was more so just.
I think that's just because Ricky was so good.
Right. I think that was more necessity than
it's like
actual.
I'm that wide open.
Right.
Throw me the ball.
Right. So I think now it seems like Peters has that comfortability with Ricky Smalling, which is good because he is supposed to be your number one receiver and someone you can count on. And then even with Trevon Sidney, like it seemed like there was something there, a little bit of a connection, which you would like because he's your wide receiver too. So it's good to me at least because, I mean, even last year we saw A.J. Bush either float somewhere, Ricky Smalling or someone had to go up and get it or go down and get it. And Eric, like you said, like Peters was consistently hitting them in the numbers where they could just turn and go and, putting it where the defense couldn't. So that's really encouraging. And then obviously you still have that running game with Reggie Corbin.
Oh, absolutely. And then
which is really good.
Dre Brown had a really great camp, and he looks like he's going to have a solid year and taking those reps from Epstein. I want to see what Jakari Norwood could do. I'm kind of interested because he had a really good camp. He was probably my second most consistent running back in camp behind Mike Epstein. He every day it seemed like he was breaking off a long run almost. But I mean, going back to these wide receivers, you also saw a little hint what they could do after they catch the ball. I mean, when you think of Illinois wide receivers, I think the last guy I could think of that was a real threat after he caught the ball was A.J. Jenkins.
That's the first name that comes to mind, too.
Yeah.
Obviously, Gmo's had a pretty good career in the NFL now with the Packers,
he's
but
starting to,
he wasn't a very good yards after the catch guy.
Speaking of him, he's sneaking up the charts of like fantasy draft.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I was doing during our draft. I remember seeing his name pop up, and I was like, "Oh, well, this is new."
Interesting.
Speaking of him again, Darren Rovell just tweeted that someone dropped $400 on him to score the first touchdown tonight. It would net the better $13,000, over $13,000, $13,200. That's a bet and a half.
You know what would be funny?
That's
is if,
incredible.
if the Bears saw that and then they took the ball first, just like despite that.
Hilarious. I mean, even with the Bears defense, I mean, we'll get to it, but there's a chance that the Bears defense scores first anyway.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. It's such a risky bet.
I wish I had $400 to put on a bet like that.
Right.
That'd be nice to have that kind
Maybe
of money.
when we get real jobs.
Maybe when we have a
knows?
salary. Let's do predictions before we hit the first break for Illinois and UConn. I think we take into account going on the road. That's a long flight, long road trip. You're kind of coming through with these injuries and not Luke Ford being held hostage. But there were good things that you saw. And again, it's UConn. It's a team that you're expected to beat up on. I'm going to go, I mean, the line's 20.5. I think Illinois covers that.
I think so too, pretty easily.
I forget what I said on yesterday's show, but I think I said like 45-17 or something.
That was my exact score. I'll come up with
I'll
another
go.
one.
All right.
I'll go 48-10. 48-10. I mean, a lot of it depends how long this first team Illinois offense plays.
Yeah.
Because they could have put up like if they played fourth quarter, they would have put up over 60. So I wonder if Rod keeps out the first team a little longer just to prove more of a point, get them more road experience. And so that's why I think a little higher than last week, 48-10.
I will go 45-14. Just because you took my score. And I didn't want to go 20
We got to get that
I
extra
don't
field
know.
goal snuck in there.
45-20, 45-14.
At some point in time, a field goal shall be kicked.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I like it. Let's do one more thing with this game. X factors of the game. I mean, Reggie Corbin's the easy answer, so we'll take him out of that. I'm going to keep rolling with Brandon Peters. I think he missed some throws on last Saturday against Akron that maybe it was rust, maybe it was just first game jitters in an Illinois uniform, but I think we see a much smoother game from him this week.
Yeah, and he had a smooth game already. I think a lot of those throws that you mentioned, I think a lot of them were just had like you had to see the play not work to understand how it works, and I think that's something that Rod and both Brandon said on Monday that they've already gone over those plays already in film. So I think he's going to come out cleaner, and then I think the X factor. I'm going to go on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, should we just go Jake Hansen again? It seems non-conference Jake Hansen's just a beast and just can't be stopped. I mean, he was one of the best rated linebackers to Pro Football Focus in coverage against the run. He had 2 takeaways.
Tackle machine.
Yeah, the guy's a monster, and wonder what you're waiting for now is to see that translate in the conference play, but we're still in non-conference, baby, so give me Jake Hansen as the X factor.
Love that.
As an individual, I'm also going to say on the defensive side of the ball, I'm going to go Dele Harding. He was pretty quiet last week.
He had a very Pro Football Focus gave him a very bad rating tackling wise.
Really? Yeah,
very not like him. He had a 40.5 tackle.
He only had
rating.
5 tackles last week, and he missed a couple other plays. And I think he's going to be a big part of their defense if their defense is going to take a step forward this season. Because Jake Hansen, like you've mentioned, Eric, he's struggled a little bit in Big Ten play, and he looks great against non-conference teams. But Dele's a guy who I personally enjoy talking to a lot at media stuff. He's really upfront. He gives good answers and all that stuff. But as a player, I think he has the potential to be a really good Big Ten linebacker with his speed and his size and his ability to make a play on the ball. And it's important you're good. And it's important for him to be a solid linebacker because Milo Eifler doesn't have a lot of experience at this level right now, but Dele and Jake both do. So I would like to see Dele have a much better weekend at UConn on the road than he did at home against Akron.
Yeah, before the season started, I predicted Dele Harding to lead this team in tackles by the time the year was over. So I would expect a bounce back week from him. Milo Eifler, he showed you what he could bring to this team last week, being able to go out into the flat and make plays. You saw how fast he was able to break on those wide receiver screens. I don't know if Illinois had a coverage linebacker be able to do that. We'll see it. We'll see how Eifler holds up down the field, covering tight ends and slot receivers down the seam or anything like that. But Eifler brings another dynamic to this Illinois defense that they didn't have last year. And that's just it's one of those things on paper that tells you this is why Illinois' defense is better. And one of those reasons is Milo Eifler himself.
That hit he put down was wild.
That was insane.
Yeah.
Literally in the press box, I just covered my mouth and I was like, he's dead.
Yeah, the GIF was even better. All right, that takes us to our first break. And we remind you that Illini Drive is brought to you by the University of Illinois Division of Intercollegiate Athletics, fightingillini.com for all your Illinois information. Unify, develop, inspire, achieve. Takes us to our first break. When we come back, we got to talk about this Antonio Brown situation. Just keeps getting weirder and weirder. So stick around for that because we're definitely going to get to it. And we're back. Illini Drive, Thursday edition. Myself, Jake Hasan, with Erich Fisher and Alec Busse. Last 30 minutes here or so to take you home. And we got to talk about this Antonio Brown thing. It's so weird. So I will give a quick cliff notes in case any of you listeners, you lovely listeners out there who we love so much, any of you have been living under a rock or been on a mission trip where you're away from your phones. Basically 2 months ago-ish.
Off season. It was before Hard Knocks.
Earlier in the off season, Antonio Brown decided that he wanted to use his old helmet, a helmet that he had used in Pittsburgh.
No, you got to start with the feet.
Yeah, the frostbite.
Oh, that's true.
You got to start with the cyrotherapy in France.
I forgot about the feet. That's
the frostbite was ridiculous by itself, but then you saw what his feet actually looked like from Hard Knocks. It was like, oh, yep, I get that.
That was gross. So Antonio Brown is out here, and he's saying that he left his feet in a cryogenic chamber for too long and has gotten frostbite on his feet. Your feet are pretty important if you're going to play football, especially in the NFL.
Wide receiver, too.
Yeah. So he is saying now that he's got to recover. And again, this is in the offseason, so he can't practice. He can't partake in training camp or mini camp. He's got to recover. He's got to let his feet heal. And then that rolls right into this helmet thing, which he's saying he doesn't like the helmet, any of the helmets that are NFL approved. He wants to use an old helmet. And the NFL is saying, well, you can't do that. We banned this helmet for a reason. Your brain is not safe in this helmet, dude. And he's saying, no, I want to use that. I want to use it. And then they apparently come to an agreement, quote unquote, which then leads to Antonio Brown showing up to practice the next day with an old Steelers helmet spray painted black and silver. Spray painted.
He did a good job of trying to make it look similar, but he failed miserably.
Right. And that,
miserably
So he
failed.
comes out on the field, and the coach says, dude, that's an old, you can't use that helmet. And he goes, fine. Walks off the field, walks out of practice, out of the building, disappears for 5, 6, 7 days, something like that.
Like a whole week. It was a whole week, I think he was gone.
That's why it's 5 to 7 days. Antonio Brown is gone. The Raiders are saying, We don't know where he is. He's not responding to anybody. Like,
He's
we
not
don't know.
here.
Whenever he shows up, he shows up again. So this is a back and forth without the helmet, and it's just this whole thing. And I think it was 2 days ago, Antonio Brown announces he's got a new deal with this new helmet company or something. He's all excited. He's at practice. He's ready to go, ready to start the season. And now Antonio Brown and Mike Mayock have gotten into an argument that almost became physical if teammates had not held back Antonio Brown. And that happened yesterday. And now today, the Raiders are exploring ways that they can suspend Antonio Brown so that they can get out of the $30 million guaranteed money to Antonio Brown so that they can cut him, release him, whatever. They don't want to deal with it anymore.
Yeah, you forgot about the fine, too, which started the whole feud between
Yeah,
Matt
because he
Cox.
posted that on,
Yeah.
was it
Which
Instagram?
also-
yesterday?
Instagram, his Instagram
that
story.
should tell you, because that's something that's handled in-house.
Right.
Like, you don't take an Instagram photo of, like, your
official fine
your
saying,
fine
hey,
of
man, you can't do this.
$54,000.
Was the fine,
It was
wasn't it
about the
like
whole
24
helmet
grand or something? It was a
No,
lot.
it was like 54.
Oh, okay,
It was like
54
50.
grand. I
But
can't remember.
to a
I
guy
thought it was
who's
20,
guaranteed
50.
$30
Yeah,
million.
no, he probably walks around with that money when he
Yeah.
goes out.
Yeah, I mean, he took that out of his back pocket and just probably
Threw
threw it on the table.
Threw it
yeah.
at Matt
Well, then
Cox.
in practice, apparently, Antonio Brown gets in Mike Mayock's face, then takes a football and punts it the length of the field, says, "Find me for that," and then walks out. I don't understand the punting. I don't know what point that proves.
He's just flexing. He's just like,
It's
I'm
so weird, and he has that stupid blonde mustache with his. It doesn't make any sense.
And the weird hair now, too. Like, his
Yep.
hair is just weird.
He's always, but that's always been his thing. I feel like
yeah,
that's
but it's got some,
less-
like, weird design on the
It
back.
is.
I think what we figure out through all this is that there is a new level of petty in sports.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Antonio Brown is like the god figure for it.
The NFL is coming for the NBA, and
And
petty level.
right? It's like this is almost like J.R. Smith like throwing soup at your assistant coach level of pettiness. Like we're almost there in the NFL.
You're right. No, we almost are. It's crazy, and I mean, and now the Raiders are saying that if they can't suspend Antonio Brown, he's going to be inactive, and that he will quote unquote be away from the team. I mean, they're going to find a way because from everything, all the tweets, and obviously it's Twitter, so who knows, but everything that like Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter have said is that Antonio Brown's contract isn't structured in a way that they have to pay him this money if they suspend him.
Smart.
Because
Very
you're
smart.
right, yeah. And they said that standard language, which I guess means if you get suspended in any player, if you get suspended, your guaranteed money is void. I didn't know that.
That's scary. If I'm my Antonio Brown, I am firing like my agent or anything for not spotting that crap out.
Well, I mean, if no players do that, I mean that makes sense. I mean, you
Yeah.
imagine,
There's
like,
got to be some different, although I don't think there is. Who was it a year or two ago that wanted to? It was the Bears with Roquan Smith. That was a dispute in his rookie
that was
contract.
just over a contract.
No,
though.
it was over if
No,
he
it
got
was something.
suspended.
Yeah,
that
that's what
he
it was.
wouldn't get his guaranteed money
I think.
or
I think
something
was
like that
injured.
for a
It was-
hit.
I think it was injured. No, it was, no, you're right. It was for
If he got suspended, he would lose his.
a head-to-head hit. You're right.
Yeah, that must be a thing
yeah.
all across the NFL.
Which is weird because Roquan was a great player in college, but he wasn't that guy in college that just laid the wood.
Well, I think it's more so like the being cautious because the
Yeah.
NFL is so like touchy about the
Also, you're a
head-to-head
rookie,
hits.
so I mean, you don't have money, so like, you
should wanna
can't
protect
like, you can't
yourself.
just be like throwing out like fine money like Antonio Brown can.
Yeah. It's also interesting because this whole thing with Antonio Brown is he's being exactly the player that like New York media tried to make Odell Beckham 2 years ago. And like this big villain who's like cancerous to the locker room and like
Now Odell's just chilling
in
with
Cleveland,
Baker,
he's
dude.
like having a great time.
He's trying to figure out what to do in Cleveland though. He's probably still
Does this not remind
Cedar
you of?
Rapids.
Cleveland slander.
Does this not remind you of T.O. though? Just this entire Antonio Brown situation. Like this just like screams
A little
Terrell
bit, but
Owens to
T.O.
me.
at the end of the day would get himself on the field.
Right,
Exactly.
He
that's
didn't
what I was
care.
gonna say,
He
yeah.
didn't care how.
And I think at the end of the day, like T.O. was dramatic, but he was still a good teammate.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
he was still-
there's
he-
never a player who seemed to complain about him as a teammate.
Right.
It was just like his antics off the field, whether it was like the
He was just a big
sit-ups on his
personality.
front
But you could
porch
still
or like
count on him.
crying
Right.
about his quarterback or whatever it was. But like this is just stupid.
Right. That's the thing. Like Eric said, you could still count on him being there. At the end of the
Yeah.
day. Like on game day, on practice day, he was showing up. Like Antonio Brown walked out of practice today, and that's not the first time. So that's a whole another thing. Because Antonio Brown
You can't
still
just be
like
having players leaving practice. Like,
especially a star player like of that
Yeah.
caliber. because now like you have these rookies who you've just drafted, and I'm sure they're like not saying anything because they're rookies. They're just happy to be there. But I mean, this dude is setting a bad example, and now that everybody knows about this standard language thing, like you have to wonder how many more players are going to fight for that structure where if they do get suspended, like especially for something like this, that they can keep that guaranteed money. So that it's just super interesting. It's super weird, and I'm going to stand by this. This is going to end with Antonio Brown, the Raiders getting out of that $30 million, and Antonio Brown being cut, and the Patriots just snapping him up for nothing, and the Patriots going to the Super Bowl, and Josh Gordon and Antonio Brown having like 800 combined yards of receiving in the Super Bowl.
God, that'd make me so sad.
It's going to happen.
It'd be even worse if it happened against the Bears.
Oof.
Because that's like an actual possibility now that the Bears
Remember
are
the
actually good.
off-season rumors of like the Bears trying to get Antonio Brown?
Oh, God.
I feel very good about that.
I feel
now.
pretty good about their decision right now.
Very solid.
I saw somebody like wanting the Packers to bring him in. But at the end of the day, literally the only coach that I think would be able to get Antonio Brown in line would be Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only coach that'll be willing to take, because like where else does a coach have that kind of sway with his players,
And the
command that
quarterback.
kind of respect? And the quarterback.
There's probably only 3 other quarterbacks in the league that could maybe rein them in: Drew Brees, Tom Brady, and I'm actually not 2, just those 2. I'm not going to say Rodgers because Rodgers.
Oh
is
no,
his
Rodgers
own,
is a head case. of
Yeah,
his own.
I was about to say Rodgers is his own problem, which report.
You know
told
who
us
I
about.
actually think would be able to get Antonio Brown under control?
Philip Rivers.
You're going to say Sean McVay.
No, I'm going to say a coach. No, Bruce Arians.
Ooh, I like that, actually. He's a really good player coach. Players love
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
I mean, he worked with Carson Palmer for.
Yeah, remember? I was about to
however
say,
long that
remember
was.
when he almost made Carson Palmer look like
He
a
did.
franchise quarterback?
I mean, Arizona went on a run there where they were like 11-5, 10-6, like for like
Yeah.
4 or 5 years. They were at the top of that division for a
And then
while.
Carson Palmer
Started
finally
to
all right,
crumble. Yeah.
all right, just kidding, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that, and I mean, Tampa Bay needs the help.
Yeah, definitely. I think,
That'd be-
that's what's going
Jameis Winston needs a receiver. Like, Mike
I mean,
Evans
Mike
is
Evans.
there, but he's getting up there in age.
receiver in
Yeah.
Mike Evans.
He has.
He's getting up
He's
there
got
in
a
age,
really
though.
good tight end.
Mike Evans is like 26.
No, Evans. Isn't he?
No.
He's like 26.
Oh, I thought he was a little bit older than that.
Evans came in with
Manziel,
Manziel.
yeah.
I thought he was a little bit older than that.
Yeah,
My bad.
He's probably like 26, 27, I bet, right now.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah, he's probably like 27, 28. He's been in the league for about 5 years now. I feel.
Quick math department right now. Research and development team is on the
But
case
I mean,
right now.
Tampa's got OJ Howard too, who's really good. Who's their running back now?
He's
Barber?
26.
Peyton
20
Barber, 26.
Mike
You
Evans.
guys are right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
Didn't
they're
they,
fine.
They
in
drafted
Tampa.
someone else. Ronald Jones from USC. They drafted him last year.
Yeah, he was good.
Bruce Arians and Bill Belichick. That's the and
Okay.
and then maybe Drew Brees / Sean Payton. Those are the only ones I would trust to bring Antonio Brown. This is so weird. How does this happen? Like, how do you as the Raiders, when you bring this guy in, because you knew everything that happened in Pittsburgh that led to him leaving. You know everything that happened with him getting in fights with Roethlisberger and Mike Tomlin. Like, how do you, when you bring him in and before you give him this giant extension, how do you not say, all right, dude, like,
Get
that's
it together.
it. Like, yeah, we brought you and we want you, and we really think you can help this team and bring this team back to contention, but we can't have this.
It's probably because you thought John Gruden was gonna like get it under control. Because when you bring in John Gruden, you're thinking no nonsense,
Right.
X's and O's quarterback that's old school and everything like that. And now not even he could rein in Antonio Brown. That's
crazy.
And that I think that goes more to show, especially after Hard Knocks too, seeing how John Gruden was like. I remember watching the first episode. The guy didn't go to a trainer, so he just cut him. Like if you're not gonna, he was like, if you're not gonna listen to the trainer, who the heck are you gonna listen to? Right. It's like, and then next scene is like that player's locker being cleaned out.
Yeah.
That player was Ronald Dolly from Last Chance U.
Mm-hmm,
But,
exactly.
Bless.
Yeah, seriously, bless Ronald
Yeah,
Dolly.
but no one could rein in Antonio Brown right now. So
I feel like Gruden's at a point where he's like, he doesn't want to lose him more than he's already lost. Like, he was completely gone by the time he was done in Pittsburgh. Like, he's kind of feeling, I think he feels like he's got to be a player coach with him. Like, he hasn't said anything bad about him in the media. Mayock was the one who said you got to be all in or all out.
Well,
Like,
Gruden said they'd have an announcement on him at some point, and he said it'll be tonight or tomorrow.
he has to be fuming though. Like,
But you think-
like every head coach is going to be fuming at something like this, but he has to be like.
Well, you're in a rebuild. This is a guy you expected to be a key part of your
This
rebuild.
is supposed to be the year where you're supposed to get back to competitive after 3 years since you went 12-4.
Yeah.
Was it 3? Yeah.
That's crazy, that fall off, too.
That's because that defense. That defense just like
Thank you, Raiders, for Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
True.
I'll
True.
I'll thank you again.
Listen to it.
Thoughts
I mean,
and prayers.
it's not even close to over. That's the thing.
Yeah. No,
No.
it's going to be something throughout the entire year.
That's so wild. All right. That'll take us to our next break. When we come back, Bears talk for the last 15 or so minutes, and Alec actually has an interesting debate to present to me regarding Mitch Trubisky. So stick around for that. We will take you right up to almost kickoff so that you can whittle away these minutes until the Bears kick off against the Packers. So stick with us. We'll be right back after this. Illini Drive, WPGU 107.1. And we're back. Illini Drive Thursday. Last few minutes here, last 15 minutes or so. We're going to take you right up until almost kickoff. Get you primed right now with some Bears talk. So let's do it. Alec has a little question for me, so let's do it. Let's get right into it before we break down this game.
Okay, so before I came over for the show, I got into a kind of like a little mini argument conversation with a couple of my pledge brothers in my fraternity that are all huge Bear fans, just like myself, about how good Mitch Trubisky is and where he would rank among other quarterbacks going into this season as a starter.
As of right now.
Yeah, as a starting quarterback. And I said he was around 20 to like 25 for me.
Okay.
And they were all like, no, he's top 15 for sure. A couple of them said he's top 10. And like, to me, that's just so backwards, not even close to being on spot. And it's because they're huge Bear fans and they're like biased towards it and whatever. And they want to think he's better than he is. And they don't know as much about it as like the three of us do, which is fair and it's fine. But I want to go through every single starting quarterback with you, like
Okay.
I did with Fish before you got here. And we're just basing off this one season, off how we're going to go through it.
Who I'd rather have as my opening day starting quarterback.
Yes.
For tomorrow, or like today.
Yeah, right.
So we're going to go through every single NFL team, all 32,
right.
and we're going to say if you would rather have that team starter over Mitch.
All right, let's do it.
All right, we're going to start. Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen.
Mitch.
Good answer.
That's what I said.
Josh Rosen or Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Mitch.
And good.
Also said that.
Tom Brady.
Brady.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold.
Mitch.
I took
Ooh.
Darnold on that.
I think Mitch is more athletic than Darnold and uses his legs more.
Yeah.
I think Mitch offers you more as an athlete.
That's something I said too when we were going through this. Is that Mitch's running ability is always going to be an X factor,
Right.
but I think Darnold.
And he rushed for 400 yards last
Yeah,
year.
Darnold as a passer though, I think is more refined. I would say.
I think Darnold is like one step up as a passer.
I would agree with that.
Continue.
Okay, we're going to move to the next division, Lamar Jackson.
Ooh, really?
This is the first debate I've had on this one.
Probably Lamar.
Wow.
How are you going to bring up rushing yards, but then don't mention Mitch? Lamar doesn't have an arm.
I think Lamar is a better passer than we think. And I think we saw it at the end of the year last year with the Ravens.
You know, that's kind of fair. He did do a good job at the end of
They
the year
got
this year.
exposed by the Chargers.
Well,
though.
Yeah, but they had a good
that's
defense.
the Chargers had a really good defense. They had Derwin James, for God's sake.
Derwin James is arguably one of the best
top
safeties.
5 safety in the league.
Yeah,
so.
and that was his rookie year.
and that's right, and that's facing Phillip Rivers on the other side like that. I think I would take Lamar by a hair over Mitch.
Okay, we're going to move to Andy Dalton now.
Mitch.
Okay.
Really, that was a tough
See,
one
now
for
that
me.
was
That's
But
not
it-
tough at all.
That one's
Really?
kind of tough on me a little bit. Baker Mayfield.
Baker.
Good. Big Ben.
Really?
This one's tough.
No, it's not.
This one was not tough for me, but
I-
all the guys in the fraternity were taking Mitch.
I would go Ben.
All right, you are at 4. We're going to go to Deshaun Watson.
Watson.
You're at 5. Jacoby Brissett.
Mitch.
Uh,
Now, that's not a slight against Brissett because I think Brissett's really good.
I think
And I
he
think
is
he's going to
too.
prove that because I think, and I said this on Tuesday's show, I think Brissett didn't get a fair shake when he was a starter in 2017 or whenever that was, when he got traded for a week before the season.
Yeah.
I think now he's been there a while and he has a
I think
rapport with
he-
those guys,
yeah.
and the offensive line's way better.
I think-
Yeah.
But I would still take Mitch.
He's also just like
That's
a cool guy.
that's the right. That's
not,
the
not
right.
a slight to Jacoby Brissett
Correct.
at all. I think he's going to do a good job.
Nick Foles. This one's interesting.
Mitch.
Really?
Ooh,
I
okay.
took. Oh my gosh.
Foles
what?
is a statue.
He's a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah,
The dude's a
but
monster.
How good were those? I mean, those Eagles teams were unbelievable.
Yeah,
The sporting
but
tail.
like,
I'm still taking Mitch. Yeah, you could put Foles in there with this Bears team. I think Mitch still has a better rapport with these
Really?
guys. Yeah,
Okay, that's gonna move us to Marcus Mariota.
Mitch.
yeah.
Okay,
I want Mariota to be good though.
Yeah, I mean,
I've
we all-
said Mariota on. I've said Mariota
I
from
think,
the beginning.
and I think we all think that because the Bears were this close to trading for him that one time.
Oh, is that? And like, he's literally like, if you watch any like off the field thing with him, nicest like
guy
most
ever.
sincere guy
Yeah.
ever.
All right, keep going.
Joe Flacco and
Mitch,
Yeah.
Okay. Patrick Mahomes.
Mahomes,
Phillip Rivers.
Rivers,
Derek Carr.
Mitch.
Wow.
I think people forget how good Derek Carr was, but he also. I mean, you can't just ignore the last 2 years either.
I mean, but you could also say you didn't have anyone to throw to these last. I mean, he had Amari, but that was
I
it.
mean, did Mitch really have anybody in his rookie year before last year?
Yeah, but he was a rookie. You can't compare like rookie Mitch to like Pro Bowl Derek Carr when he was
Mitch made the Pro Bowl last year.
Not really.
That title.
He
is
did
losing
not
more
make
and more
the
value every year.
And he only made it because Goff was
Okay,
in.
I'll tell you why I'm taking Mitch over Derek Carr. Derek Carr's soft, mentally soft.
Okay.
Cried on the field.
That-
Can't have it.
Okay. You're not looking similar to us right now. We're moving into the NFC. Dak Prescott. Oh, this guy's a big Mitch guy.
Dak
Really,
by a hair,
I took Mitch in that one.
slightly.
We're going to move to New York with Eli Manning or Daniel Jones.
Just stick with the Eli.
You're going with Eli?
No,
on
no,
that?
no. I meant like between Daniel Jones.
Okay,
and
yeah,
Eli,
I'm taking Mitch over the corpse of Eli Manning.
Okay, we're going to move to
That's how basically I said that too.
Philly now, and we're going to go with Carson Wentz.
Wentz.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Then this one's difficult for me to name a starter, but they named, I'm pretty sure, Colt McCoy, their starter in Washington.
Washington named Colt McCoy their
Or hash
starter? Really?
Yeah.
That's just not worth it. What?
McCoy or Haskins?
I gotta see something about
Did
that.
Keenum get cut?
I don't know. I thought
Or
that
is he
they
hurt?
announced that they were
That's
going.
what I really want Colt McCoy to be good too. He's electric when he's good, but I'm taking Mitch.
Everyone wants Colt McCoy to be good because of college.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Just like with Greg
Same
McElroy.
stuff with and Vince Young.
Yeah.
Like it's the same.
I
thing.
will take Mitch over either of the Washington starters.
Okay.
All Washington starters.
Yeah, true.
Matt Stafford.
Really?
Come on. This one's easy.
This is easy.
Mitch.
What?
That's
When
not
Matt
the
Staff-
right answer.
When Matt Stafford.
Why is that not the right
Because
answer?
when Matt Stafford's on, he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
And Matt Stafford
Okay,
has
actually,
a
you're right. I'm going to flip that. You're right.
Matt Stafford
You're
has a
right.
cannon.
And I'll
You're right.
take a guy that's
Doesn't
sometimes a
doesn't
top 10
Stafford-
quarterback compared to a guy that's
You're right.
sometimes a quality.
I'll
quarterback.
flip that. I'm taking Stafford because he has more game-winning drives than
He's good.
most people in the last 7 years. Yeah. All right. He passed for. I forgot he passed for 5,000
He
yards
always,
that 1 year.
yeah, he's always over four.
He gets
4K.
flack. You know what? I was just taking into account the Lions. Stafford is by himself. Yeah.
Lions-
Yeah, try not to factor too much into
All right.
who these guys have been stuck with.
I'll take Stafford.
Side
over Mitch.
note: Lions are like one of my more underrated teams this year.
Well, that's a hot
Yeah.
take. We're gonna move to Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers.
Yeah,
Next is Kirk Cousins.
Cousins.
yeah.
Yep, me too.
I think that's the right choice.
Matt Ryan,
Ryan.
Cam Newton,
Newton.
Drew Brees,
Brees.
Jameis Winston,
Mitch.
Yeah,
Kyler Murray.
See, this is hard because I don't know anything about Kyler yet. That's the thing.
So what I did when I did this, I didn't do any rookie quarterbacks. I didn't consider any rookie.
If you think
quarterbacks.
Kyler Murray is going to be an absolute freak this year, by all means, take Kyler Murray.
See, this is tough because I don't I just don't know. Part of me wants to take Kyler Murray because I think behind the Bears' offensive line, he could be really, really good. But I just don't know.
Bears' offensive line isn't that good.
They're top. They're probably top 7 in the league.
Their interior is really good. Tackles always worry me with
I think
Leno and
I think
Massey.
their tackles are above average.
yeah.
Skip because I can't.
All right.
I can't talk about this without. I don't know anything.
You gotta
about
know
Kyler
what
Murray.
you gotta know what you have. In
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
This one's really interesting. Jared Goff.
Goff.
Yep. Then you're
I
going
had
to
to
move.
think about that one for a little bit, just because
Goff's just a pure passer.
Yeah.
and he's really good at it.
You're going to move to Jimmy Garoppolo now.
Yeah, that one.
This one's tough because
that one had
This one was tough
because
for
you
me too.
almost still don't know what you have with
Right,
Jimmy G
that's
yet.
the- that's
he's
what
played how
exactly
many
what I was
games for
gonna
them?
say.
10 games?
for the
But when
Niners,
he's
I think it's
played-
7.
7?
But when
Something
he's
like that.
played
Because he
them,
had-
he's
he
been
has been
really,
really
really,
good.
really good.
He's got a lot of.
Give me Jimmy G.
I think I said Mitch just because I'm still jury's kind of out on.
But
Jimmy
it's
G.
like Alex said when he played those 7-8 games, he was awesome.
Yeah.
Last one, Russell Wilson.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Okay, so you finished with 18.
Not too far
I
off.
finished with 21 that I would rather have over Mitch.
I finished with
20.
19.
19?
No, you
'Cause
finished with
because
20. You finished with 20.
No, because Mitch was 20.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Okay, so I have Mitch at 19.
Yeah. So 19, 20, 21.
I think the Big Ben. I
Yeah.
think Big Ben one was a big one.
Yeah.
'cause
There's a couple. I mean, you could obviously, these could go either which way a lot, but
I don't know about that Big Ben one, man. You got to take Big Ben.
I don't know. Big Ben, I
None
feel like he's breaking down.
None of my frat brothers took him.
Yeah.
I was shocked that they didn't take him.
Now, I think by season's end, Mitch will be top 12 at least.
Ooh.
I don't
You wanna
think
do-
that's-
I would
don't-
love
to
for
go-
that to
go
happen.
from. To jump 6 or 7 spots. I don't think that's
Think about
that big
some
of
of
a
the
jump.
names that we listed off here, though.
I mean, I think
you
could,
have four. You have 4 elite quarterbacks.
I
in
mean,
the NFL now.
I think he could pass Lamar Jackson.
I think he's.
I was
already passed
surprised
Lamar
you
Jackson.
took
I was
Lamar
surprised by that,
Jackson
too.
over
I took
him.
Mitch.
See, that's what I'm saying. I think he could pass Lamar, Goff.
I think he passed Goff.
I think he could pass.
I think him and Goff are very similar.
they are very similar. I think Mitch is
At
a
least
bit
with,
more of an
like-
athlete, but
I think with their ceilings, they're very similar,
agree. I would agree with that.
and I think Mitch's is a little bit higher because of his
Yeah,
athleticism.
I think Mitch could pass Kirk Cousins.
Agreed.
I think those two are very, very, very similar as well.
Again, I think Mitch is more
Right
of an
now,
athlete.
I think they're
Yeah.
similar
Right
in
now,
terms
yes,
of their rankings.
yes.
When I say they're similar,
I
I'm
would
speaking
agree
of
with that.
rankings.
They're in the same.
Cousins has
area-ish.
the better arm, though.
Yeah, he's a better pure passer. I don't know
Yeah,
if he has
yeah.
a better arm.
That's why I like Goff more than Mitch.
Yeah,
'Cause I want my
can't
quarterback to
think-
throw
I
and
can't really
run.
think
And
of
plus,
many
like,
more off the top of my head.
I mean, Goff is just a guy that's been in those big time. I mean, dude was
Right.
in the Super Bowl. Yeah,
You struggled with Garoppolo. You think he's better than Garoppolo?
I think he can be. It's back to Eric's point that
just don't know if
we
there's a
don't
big
know.
enough sample
we don't,
size of
right.
Garoppolo.
We don't know with Garoppolo. I
You
would
know,
take Garoppolo
you have a
by
good
this much.
You have a good / potential franchise quarterback
Right.
in Garoppolo.
Another interesting one is Nick Foles. Now that he's gotten his, I guess this would be his second chance to be a starter.
Yeah,
Because it's, well,
before it was the Rams.
Yeah,
yeah, and he only got his first starting job with the Eagles because,
Wentz was hurt.
no.
Oh, the first time.
the first time someone got hurt. Was that Vic?
Vic?
That had to be Vic.
No, I don't think.
No way.
And
It
they
might
didn't,
have been.
Yeah,
they didn't go into the year expecting him to start, and he got it. He got it because
think
someone
it
got
was
hurt.
Michael
I think
Vick.
it was Vic.
Because I think it was like 2010, 2011.
I'll pull
It
up
was
this
early
football reference
2010s.
real quick.
That would be crazy.
I can't believe he doesn't strike me as that old.
Yeah.
Oh, he's definitely old. He's
Yeah,
like
that's wild.
He's like getting close.
Yeah,
he's
he's got to be
he's-
over 30.
He's not close. Like he's probably about 3 or 4 years younger than Josh McCown. I would probably say.
2012.
Comes back in the league.
Yeah, I know, right? The guy can't leave.
In 20,
I love Josh McCown though.
in
Go ahead,
2012 with the Eagles, he started 6 games, and his record was 1-5. So I'm thinking it was 2013 that he was really good with, with the
I think
Eagles,
so.
and he was 8-2 as a starter.
That's got to be that year.
It had to be that year. But what?
2013.
Why would he have started 6 games the year before? Vic
'Cause
must have gotten hurt
Vic was
again.
always hurt at
Yeah,
the end.
Vic
He
always
was
got
always
hurt.
hurt at the end.
So he must have just lit it up that
Yeah.
one year because he was really bad in St. Louis.
That was still Chip
He was
Kelly,
really
right?
bad. Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
That was still Chip. Yeah.
Yeah. Wild.
That was when that offense was like innovative and like unstoppable.
And now he's back at UCLA.
And then defenses were like, all right, we'll start like
Whoa,
covering
whoa,
the
whoa.
read option and stuff like that. Or not read option because Nick Foles ain't going to run.
No, that's what I'm saying. Statue.
But with Vic, that's what like the whole
Right,
West,
it
the whole
worked.
West
It
Coast
worked.
type of system. Yeah.
All right. We'll close it out here. Bears Packers is about to go down. I mean, we're all taking the Bears in this room, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take him.
You see Good Morning Football, they 3 out of the 4 of them took Packers.
Yep.
And Get Up, 3 out of the 4 took
Yeah.
the Packers as well.
That's
On
incredible.
ESPN
Greeny
with
was
Greeny.
the only one to take the Bears.
Yeah.
Sleeping.
This is home.
Here's my thing with
It's
the Bears.
because it's the Packers.
And here's my
and
thing
it's
with the Bears.
Rodgers.
Everyone is saying, and I think this is such a lazy take.
Regress.
Everyone's saying that the Bears aren't going to be as good because Mitch won't take the step.
And because of
I think
Fangio
it's
leaving.
lazy to say that he won't. I think it's fair to say we don't know if he will. That's a very fair argument, and I'm
But-
here for that all day because
But
I
the
have those
odds of
worries
him
too.
being better are in his
right
favor.
Because the thing is, even if he's the same, you're still going to be a 10-6 team,
Absolutely. I believe so.
11-5 team. Even if he's the
With their
exact
schedule, though,
same.
they have
Yeah.
easily the toughest schedule in the NFL.
One of them.
It's the fifth toughest according
But the thing,
to Pro
Really?
Football. Yeah, 5th.
But the thing is with this,
But that's what you get
The
for
night-
being a first place team.
Yeah.
No,
The
I
night-
know. I thought it was the hardest. Like looking at it, I didn't know the
Oh,
rankings.
but
I
it's
assumed
like-
it was
you know
number
what's so
one.
great is that when you look at the schedule, there's not one game except maybe home at against New Orleans. Home going to New Orleans.
No,
Oh my
New Orleans
gosh.
is at home.
Is it? Okay, well then there's every game on the schedule. You can't say the Bears are going to definitely lose that game.
Yeah, I agree.
That's how good
I think
this team
the
is.
Chiefs is the biggest case you can make for that they
Yeah,
definitely
but
lose.
that's at home too.
And the
Yeah.
Rams. They have
But
to go
I mean, the
out to
Chiefs are-
LA this year.
The Chiefs are like used to cold weather. The Rams at LA does scare me because. The
But I
Rams are
think
gonna
they're
want revenge.
significantly better than the Rams. I really do.
I don't know about
not significantly. I do
significantly.
think they're not maybe significantly better,
have
but I do
Aaron
think they're
Donald.
better.
They're better.
Aaron Donald was a home wrecker.
That's true.
Yeah, Khalil Mack's a home wrecker too.
True.
Very true.
And
All
you're
right.
in a Khalil Mack jersey right now. So
I am.
Score predictions.
I'm playing
Bears,
both
Packers.
sides of the ball here. I said earlier 27-17.
Okay.
I'm going to say
Bears.
23-17 Bears.
I'm gonna say 27-20.
All right, cool.
All right.
Go
Let's
Bears.
get to it. Let's go Bears. We will be back on
Bear down.
Monday. Myself, Nathan, Alex, and Brendan will be in here. Until then, enjoy the game, enjoy your weekend, and we will see you all on Wednesday.